Hello, welcome to Let's Talk NCAA basketball, specifically tournament basketball, men's and women, with Rick and Jack. I'm Rick. Jack, hello.
Hello, sir.
Quick reaction when I say NCAA tournament. First thing comes to your mind?
UConn.
UConn, what comes to your mind about UConn?
That's the game last night, last
You're
minute.
talking about the foul, right?
Yeah, the blown
The
call.
foul that wasn't called?
Yeah, it's disappointing. We're supposed to be doing this for
The elephant in the room.
it's a blown call. They should have called it, and you keep watching the video and you've seen where the ref was at. It should have been called, but they swallowed the whistle. UConn ended up winning, so now UConn has to basically. You were given an opportunity. Now you need to make sure you win that championship and do everything to do so, because you should be home right now.
To me, that was despicable, because the players were very close to the referee. I wanted to believe when the play went down, and you see it the first time, you're not sure. I wanted to believe that the gal for UConn went straight up, and the other one went straight up, but one hit her in the face and the other hit her on the arm. It was a flagrant foul, and there's a lot of outrage about it, but we're all going to be big kids, and you have to be a big kid about it, and that's sports. But it definitely was a mistake. And to amplify that, UConn was trying to hand that game to Baylor. They missed 3 out of 4 free throws at the end. Paige Beckers missed 5 straight shots at the end of the game. Those freshmen choked for UConn at the end of that game. The one on the foul line and Becker, they choked. And Baylor came roaring back and fought to win that game.
And they took the lead. At one point, I'm like, oh my gosh.
I mean,
they look. UConn looks
I'm very saddened by what happened.
Vulnerable.
Yeah.
And the last time they were this vulnerable, their opponent scored 95 points, but just to see them, but
yeah, it was tough. It was tough to watch. Now we got some good games left. Arizona's stepping up and playing well. Very impressive. They got a really good little guard there. That's an impressive team, and of course, South Carolina, Stanford's still there, North Carolina State. So it should be fun. It's left a bad taste in my mouth. I don't want UConn to win it. I don't think that they deserve it. I believe they should have lost last night. There wasn't going to be enough time for them to score.
You can't put a blown call on the ref on them.
Well, I'm not. But the incident, it's just not proper what happened, in my opinion. And again, it's sports. Hey, how many games has that happened? How many blown calls has there been in life? How many times, before we had the era of cameras and watched things over, when a guy was out at the plate and they called him safe and it cost a World Series to somebody. So it's happened over history, and we all get over it. We march on. That's the way we're trained in our minds, but it's still not right. The girl really got fouled. I was like.
And she looked, the first thing she did was she looked at the ref and said, how did you not call that?
Come on. That kid's a good ball player for Baylor, by the way. She's really good. And so what's the other thing what's the next thing that sticks out in your mind about NCAA tournament basketball?
Well, on the men's side, just to see how the Pac-12.
Boy, we are on the same wavelength. That was my next thing, the Pac-12.
Yeah, the Pac-12, they just, they're surprising us. It's like the only reason why we don't have another Pac-12 to play in is because they had to play each other, so one had to go home. Disappointing game for Oregon, because they should have played much better. But then you look at SC and say, SC has been playing with them. It's their division rivals, so they know how they play, and they showed up. SC showed up and showed why they're going on to the next round, and it's going to be a difficult next round, but I think it's possible.
It's interesting. USC beat Oregon twice this year. The one game they had was canceled. They only played once during the conference, and SC beat them by 14, and they beat them the other night by 14. SC has played like a good basketball team. You've got to remember that they beat Kansas, a very talented team, and I know Kansas' head was not in it, you could tell, but they lost by 34 points. Kansas losing by 34 points to a USC. There must be something magical about that USC team. Now my next question is, can they beat Gonzaga?
Not the way how Gonzaga been playing. And Gonzaga, in order for them to beat Gonzaga, those brothers need to step up and
Like they did against Kansas.
and play mistake-free basketball. Otherwise, I'm looking for holes in Gonzaga's play, and I can't find it. So you yourself as their opponent can't make any mistakes.
No. SC has to play a perfect game, and I heard it said that, Evan Mobley is going to be the USC center, such a fine ball player, is going to be the number 1 or 2 pick in the draft. And it was stated by somebody in the know. They said, well, wait a minute, he's the 4th best player on the court in this game against Gonzaga. There's 3 guys, Suggs, Kispert, and Timmy, that are better than him. And of course, there was a big discussion about it. Oh, there's no way Evan Mobley's the best guy on the court. But we're going to see who the best one on the court is. Mobley really, if he's that good, he got to step up, take over, and his brother's got to go arm in arm with him. And those kids have been shooting so well on the wings and at the top of the. SC is capable. I'm telling you, they are capable, and they may shock the world. I don't think 29-0 is going to be 29-1 though. I think 29-0 is going to be 30-0, and SC can say we had a great tournament. And on the other game that's coming up tonight, UCLA, I believe again they're talented enough to beat Michigan. Michigan is tough. They're beasts. They're savages. They play hard. They play hard for Howard, man. They play really hard. Can UCLA beat Michigan?
Absolutely. Just the way the first game. Basically, I saw Tom Izzo get outcoached. And I think UCLA had the better talent.
When they played Michigan State.
When they played Michigan State to play in the tournament.
Conan's a good coach.
And then look at them now, on the verge of trying to knock our number 1 team out
Well, number 1 seed.
Number 1 seed in the tournament. So it's but I do like Michigan the way they're playing, especially just to see Juwan Howard. It's almost like he's like a kid again, like when he was in
he's loving it.
The way he's coaching them, and
he is loving
the
it.
enthusiasm from a coach. He's directing and coaching at the same time, but he's also living in the moment and enjoying it. And you gotta love that.
Yeah, you do, and it's been a lot of fun. I mean, the tournament right now, we still got 3 number 1s in. We had last night a couple of wins by the teams that should have won, and Houston looks tough.
Houston looks tough.
They're very athletic. They're not tall. Their tallest guy is 6'7", but somebody said something interesting. The tallest guy never gets the most rebounders. He's not the best rebounder. The hungriest person is the best rebounder.
Absolutely.
Russell Westbrook. Not the tallest guy, but he gets, 10, 12 rebounds a game. Because he's hungry.
But it's also what I've seen over the years, and I've heard top rebounders say, what they do is they study the bounce of the ball to know where it's going. So it's not necessarily, you're not just always going up. You, based on where the ball hits the rim, you know the trajectory, and you anticipate that trajectory, and that's why you're always there to get the ball. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. But those are the little things that they do to make their game better.
Yeah, and that was an interesting point that was made. Is like, the best rebounders are not the tall guys. The best rebounders are the hungry guys.
Yes.
And I said, wow, because somebody was saying, well, Houston's going to have a tough time because of their height. And it was said, no, they're not. They're hungry for the basketball. Houston looks good. I think, for me, Baylor's look like the best basketball team in the tournament right now. Baylor looks tough. I mean, they really had no trouble last night in that game.
No, and well, my thing is I've always said, like, it's gonna be a team in the number 2 spot that's gonna win the tournament, and here you are, basically Houston's the only number 2 team left in it, and they're playing with heart.
They're well coached. Calvin Sampson is a good coach. He's been around a long time, and those guys are ready. They play really good basketball. Houston plays a really good brand of basketball. Baylor plays a great brand of basketball. I don't think there's anybody left in this tournament that doesn't. UCLA and USC are a surprise to me. For all of us, the Pac-12 is a great surprise. I mean, you know how many people, the whole world was dogging out the Pac-12 and saying, what did I say?
Me included.
Do you remember what I said in the first show? A Pac-12 team wouldn't make it past the second round.
No.
Go back and look at the shows. That shows you what I know about what I'm talking about. Crazy. The Pac-12 is a man. I'm real happy for them, and the West Coast is well represented.
No,
I hope one of the two, SC or UCLA, get to the Final Four. I think UCLA has the better chance, don't you?
Yes, it's just I think because of Juwan Howard's he's still new to the coaching on this level, and I think he might get out coached. But for the most part, the talent wise and heart, I think UCLA has that. You know that they have that Cinderella story.
UCLA
Right?
is very athletic. I'm telling you, very athletic. Well, when they had to take that game the other night, they took it in. What did they score? 23 points in overtime.
Yes.
23 points.
And they scored 25 in
the second half.
In the second half, and here, but they just took over the game. Well, it shouldn't have. First of all, it shouldn't have gone into overtime. They shouldn't have just let him shoot that three. But you also didn't want to foul him.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, but
that three was crazy.
This is still.
I couldn't believe it.
This is still the most exciting time of year for me as a college basketball fan and sports fan, because we have so much sports right now.
It's too much.
And
Baseball starts this week.
Ugh.
It's too much. It's too much. But I mean, I love it. Last night I watched both games, and they probably start about 4 o'clock our time tonight, and I'll be watching both games. And in between that, I'm watching an NBA game, and it's a lot of fun. I love the tournament, and it's really pretty much gone with, you got 3 number ones still there. I mean, it's pretty much gone to form.
No,
if the number ones win tonight, then you got everybody in that was number ones and a number 2. 3 number ones and a number 2. And that's probably what's going to happen, right?
Probably, but in the middle of the whole thing, there was so much upset, there was so much excitement, and there was also so much good basketball.
Oh, some great games. There's a lot of talent. It's really fun to watch. You see some kids like, on some of these teams that you don't watch during the year. Kids on Oral Roberts, the kids on Creighton, kids on Oregon State that are really great basketball players. And you all constantly get fed how many times did we have to watch Duke and North Carolina and Louisville this year, who weren't the best teams. They were in Kentucky. They were on TV so much, and they weren't the best teams.
No, and it's one of those, basically it's brand recognition, and that's why those teams were there. It's not because of the talent and the way they were playing, because they were not playing good basketball. And in fact, Coach K actually came out one day and said, we shouldn't be playing this tournament or playing at all. Yeah. And it's because his team was not playing well, so that's why he's assuming that we shouldn't be playing. And look at, an Oregon State would beg to differ. Here, a UCLA would beg to differ, being in a position they are right now, on the cusp. They're still alive to win a championship.
I'm impressed. I have to tell you, I'm impressed by SC and UCLA. They both are playing great basketball, and they got some good players. UCLA's got a couple of kids, Johnny Jusang, and when he fouled out and he wasn't going to be in overtime, I was like, they're in trouble. But
they opened it up.
That kid in the middle picked it up, and they went in. UCLA went and took that game. They said, hey, man, we had a bad break. They hit the 3. We're going to go take this game. And UCLA took it, and I just think they got that attitude. And SC and UCLA, we might be sitting here tomorrow or tonight saying, wow, the Pac-12 is well represented in the Final Four. We've got 2 teams. I hope so. And who's your Final Four?
So my Final Four right now, I'm actually looking at, so Baylor and Houston already in there.
Yeah, they're in
so
already.
So tonight, I'm actually thinking, it's a pick 'em, but I'm picking Michigan as a number 1 team, as a number 1 to win against UCLA. Gonzaga, they haven't shown me anything for me to pick against them. So.
Yeah, you're so right. Until you lose, you can't pick against them. Until you lose a game. Gonzaga is 29-0. And I know they played some softies, and everybody gets on about that.
But in the tournament, it wasn't even close. They dominated every team that they played. So it's not like, you're like, they almost, no, they dominated every team that they played. There wasn't any close games or a last-minute shot. No, they dominated.
Okay, USC has dominated everybody they played. Can they beat them? SC has dominated everybody they played.
It's a level of competition. I think
SC's played some good teams.
Let's see. It should be a good game. I'm sure you're gonna go with your with SC.
No, I'm not.
No?
Well, my heart goes with SC and UCLA. I would love to see those two teams there. Being a Southern California kid, I would love to see them. Reality tells me that UCLA is going to win and SC is going to lose. I think UCLA is going to beat Michigan. That's
And
my Final Four. We already got two in there, like you say. We got Baylor and Houston already in. I just think it's going to be UCLA and Gonzaga, and I hope I'm wrong. But what do you all think? I mean, you guys have all been watching the tournament, and a lot of you had good picks, good bets. So if you bet UCLA and USC every game, the two of them, you made some good money and kept doubling your money. What do you think as fans? What do you think of our picks? What do you think of our show? By the way, we thank you for liking us and following us and sharing us with your friends and, going and watching our friends over there at FanWagon and making some bets with those guys. That's a great betting app. But what do you think? I mean, who's going to be the Final Four? We would love to hear from you. Tell us what you think. Tell us what's going to happen down the stretch here. And I just kind of think some of UCLA is going to win. Final Four, you're taking the four big boys? I mean,
yeah, I'm taking the four big boys.
Three number ones and a two.
Yeah, and I think Houston's going to win it. Before the tournament started, Houston was on our, in a sense, the top 5 teams.
Well, we said Alabama and Houston
was going to come in there and do some stuff, and here you have Houston in the top in the Final Four right now. So that's who I have to win the tournament itself tonight. Michigan and Gonzaga.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, that's the logical play, and that's the best play. Those are the best teams, and they should be there. They've been number ones, and they've been fine teams all year. What happened to Alabama? They look terrible.
It comes down to
they look terrible.
I think it's we always talk about with this tournament. It's on the you're on a hot streak, and then also it's mental. This is a time where all you live, you breathe in basketball. Maybe they should, they were going on museum trips, I think it was, and I was like, what are they doing? Getting out the bubble, all that, so mentally they weren't there. But guess what? The teams that are mentally fit, they're there and they're playing it right now.
Well, let me ask you. After it's all said and done, who's going to win it all? Who's the champion?
I think Houston.
Houston.
Yeah, that was our. Other than the number ones,
we loved them. We loved them, and we said it from the beginning.
And from all season long, we've always talked about Houston, how we liked the way they were playing. They were playing solid ball, and they're showing it right now. And being in a position right now, they're one game away from the championship and getting there. But
I think that's a good pick, a very industrious pick, a brave pick. Houston is good. You got some good teams left here. It's interesting. Far be it from me to be the guy to give out the winner, because I started with Illinois being the winner, if you remember. Then I said it was going to be Alabama after Illinois went out. They're both out. Now I'm saying Baylor. I like Baylor against Gonzaga. I think Baylor's going to win it all. I love their brand of basketball. They got some good players on that team.
Well,
that kid Teague is something else. He was hot last night.
Well, all year long
they play good defense.
Yeah,
they play good defense, so they're good at both ends of the court. And Michigan's a fine team.
I just don't think this is a year for them.
It's tough.
But all year long, you had Baylor and Gonzaga in the 1 and 2 spots. So it wouldn't be surprising to us to see them being right there in the championship. Well,
a lot of fun left. I hope you all are doing well in your tournaments again. And a lot of people have that Final Four as the same. But again, Jack really feels strongly about Houston. I feel strongly about Baylor. Let us know who you like, who you're sticking with. The tournament's almost over. We got a few games left, and it's been a lot of fun as always. But so you don't think SC or UCLA can win it tonight?
No.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I would love to see it, but let us know what you think. It's going to be a good game. By the next time our next show airs, we'll already know what has gone on in these games. But we want to thank you for watching. We want to thank you for sticking with us during the tournament. It's been fun. We got one more week of it to talk about, and then we'll go on to the NFL draft and a lot of other sports shows. But more than anything, we want to thank you for helping our audience grow and being interested in what we do and looking at it and doing your own thing and using what we have to say to help you in your prognostication. So have a great, great week ahead. Enjoy the games. Have a great weekend. We thank you for watching. We thank you for liking us. We thank you for sharing. Keep watching us. Check out our friends at the Betting Up at FanWagon. Good group of people, and it's fun to bet there. So, again, have a great week. Thanks for watching. May your team be the champion. And what do you think for going out? Houston. The theme of the day is Houston.
Yeah, Houston is going to be a problem.
Houston is going to be a problem. Based on that, I'll stick with Baylor. Good luck.
Good luck.
Enjoy. Thanks for joining us today, Jack. We look forward to seeing you next week and going over all this and having bragging rights. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon. Again, thanks for being fans of the show. God bless.